Oh, we're live. Oh, we're live. أعوذ بالشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله ما بعد. Beautiful sisters of the Muslim Speaks tribe, welcome to day 7 of our Dhul Hijjah series 6.0 themed, what is it? uh, a sojourn to grace, a sojourn to grace. And in the last 1 week, we back to back, we've been talking about the many graces that of Allah, the many ways that the grace of Allah uh, is abound in our lives. And today we're going to talk about the grace of the purif. Today we are focusing on the grace of a sincere heart. And if you have had your heart broken by someone who was insincere, you understand just how much of a gift having a sincere heart is. It is not something that is easy to a lot of people. It's definitely not something that comes easy to a lot of people. And so, for us as Muslims, Islam has so many guidelines on how to purify our hearts and instill sincerity in it. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, inshallah. And I've found people who are going to share from their experience and hopefully their knowledge of the position of Islam on sincerity of heart, and permit me to have, I'm honored to have our Coach Idayat Alimi of True Bliss here with us. Hi, sis. Assalamualaikum. Joining us
Alaikum
all the
salam
way
wa
from
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ilorin, by the way. And then we have
Abuja, Igwe.
Abuja. Oh, hey, it's Abuja. I thought the
Yes, it's
last time I
Abuja.
sent something to you was in Ilorin. You moved to Abuja, or you've always
I've
been in Abuja.
never been in Lorry. I've always been in Abuja.
Oh, so what did I not send?
I don't know.
No,
Maybe a
no.
look-alike. Maybe my twin sister from another mother that I've not met yet.
Maybe I mixed it up. Maybe I mixed it up,
Mhm.
obviously. So you was all the way from Abuja, mashallah. And then somewhere in Ogun State, somewhere in Ogun State. Even though they will say it's Lagos State. But joining us somewhere in Ogun State is Aisha Olushola Babaka.
We are of Lagos.
Yeah, they are a part of Lagos, or a
Mm.
subsidiary of Lagos, an affiliation of Lagos.
Speaking of Ogun
All
State.
is well. So we're talking about purification of the heart, and it's an extension of our theme of the day, which is the grace of a sincere heart. I know for sure. After a few people have broken my heart, like how do I say it? Is when we talk about heartbreak, people always think about relationship with men, but
Yeah.
human beings break our hearts a lot. It has nothing to do with, regardless of what the relationship is. Mothers breaks the heart of their children.
Yeah.
Children, oh God, children breaks the heart of their mothers a lot. That one, many of us break our parents' hearts with many of the decisions we've made. We, you know, heartbreak. is usual- But for me, when I think of heartbreak, I always think of insincerity, like insincerity of one heart breaks the other. That's what I think. When somebody does something to me, the only way it makes sense is that I mean you are sincere.
Mm.
Really sorry.
Sorry. So sorry, Stoney. Do you have
God,
water?
what I care, Benjamin when you shall
Ah,
me.
sorry, Emma Binu. That was the first thing that came to mind.
This fast that I'm joining with said I need don't talk about what I do.
Konija,
Okay, so
inshallah.
what does
Konija.
okay, mashallah. So our heart, what does purification of heart mean? Why do we need to purify it? So I was saying, talking about what I think when I think of purification of heart, when I think of sincere heart, I just think of the things that people do. Like they did it, it's an action, it are actions that they did with their hands or their mouth. But the first thing that comes to my mind is it started with their heart. For me, that's the belief that we are. Like I just like that person's heart it was not pure. Like why do we have that link, sister? Why do we have that link, sister Idaya? Like why do we somebody does something with their eyes and we are connecting to the heart? Somebody does something with their mouth. They say something and we say, you know that. Like we're talking about heart. Why is that connection with every it seems like a lot of actions we relate it to the heart.
I think we can even point it to Islam. You know, actions are judged according to intention. That thing about you don't just wake up and do something, you have a plan to do it, you have the
Mm,
potential to do it. So it all comes back to the heart. If you want to do
mm,
something, if you're a nice person, and your dad Danny is comes from the heart, the person has a good heart. If you're a wicked person, the act of wickedness, you have to plot to be wicked. So it
mm.
still boils down to the heart. So you're either a good person, and I mean we're all striving, but really
Okay,
it
so
is from the
are we
heart.
saying that our character is
Mhm.
built from the heart? Like the heart is central in our character and in our humanness. The heart is that important. Mashallah.
Yes, it
I think
is.
that brings to the it brings to mind the hadith of the Rasul Sallallahu where it says that there's a part of the body. I think
Mm-hmm.
that when it is what's the hadith? Ooh, I mean,
That,
I'm
that
trying to
when it is
remember it. I'm not
when it is
paraphrase.
healthy, when it is healthy, every part of the body is healthy. But when it is sick or diseased, every part of the body is also sick or diseased. Paraphrased anyway. I'm not sure the one.
Oh, Inshallah, do you know the full statement of it before we start? Or you even know the Arabic of it? I had some madrasa people here the other day.
Yes,
Every
so
It's verbatim, but I just have the understanding from the way she just said it that if there is the Prophet Sallallahu said that there is a flesh in the body, that when it is diseased, the whole body is diseased, and when it is in good state, in its best form, the whole part of the body is in its best form. So,
mm,
to me, a sincere heart, it boils down to like before when you look at, just like you said, when you look at somebody when they do something, if they do it, like if you see somebody do good, you know that this person okoemo, like our conscience, our empathy comes from heart. Some people don't have conscience one bit, like this one naira conscience, and it's from the heart. Like they do things and they're like, go need some more. Meanwhile, this thing is hurting the other person. So before you are not able to have a good conscience, that means your heart is diseased. You're not
mm.
going, there's no way you're ever going to be able to do something with a sincere heart if you have a diseased heart.
Okay,
So our
so
conscience,
I think that what we can conclude is that the position of Islam is that our consciousness, our the conscience, the thoughts, right? Most times you're
yeah.
thinking, I think neuroscience will say it's in your brain, it is this, but we're saying the character is from the heart and not just the brain. And we're focusing on the heart that this is where it is. This is what we know. This is what we accept as Muslim, that this is where all of it comes from. Whatever it is
Yeah.
going in the head starts from the heart, right? That's our conclusion now. So that's why it
Yes.
is the heart is such central organ to us as Muslims. So how do how do people so purification of the heart purification of that, what does that mean? I mean, what is that? Sister Hidayah?
For me, I think it stems from realizing the fact that the heart needs to be purified. That the heart is not always going to be peachy, everything perfect, everything is fine. So it stems from knowing that it's possible for us to have some stains. Do we call it stains on the heart? And then when we acknowledge that it's possible for our hearts to be dirty, that's when we realize that we do need to purify it and that there is a process of purification of the heart. So for me, it stems from acknowledging that even though we have been blessed by this wonderful heart that does a lot of things, that keeps the world, that keeps the body system going and all that, it's possible for it to get dirty. Just like our lenses, our phones, the camera of our phones, our glasses, even our windows, they get dirty and they need to be cleaned. And so, acknowledging that our hearts can get dirty, then it means that they need to be cleaned and hence purified. So,
Hmm,
purification of
hmm,
the heart simply is just keeping the heart spick and span. The way we clean our hijabs, the way we clean our cleans, but this is more profound because It's the bedrock of everything we do in life. If we have a
Mm.
clean heart, it's even easier to worship Allah. And then, of course, the ultimate goal is Al Jannah. So
Mm.
that's the way I
Mashallah.
see it, anyway.
Well, it's a fantastic view of it, really. Then I'm thinking that do we remove the heart and go and wash it on that tap
I
of
wish.
but we're
I
coming
wish.
to that. Aisha, how do we get our heart stained? I mean, how do we get it stained? She said it, or do you, how do we get it stained?
Okay, when it comes to purifying our hearts, we should start from the process. I'm saying that it's in one of his sayings, and it's so he it's just that I'm very bad at quoting and all of that. That every one of us has been assigned a jinn, a devil, a demon by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this demon always, every time is with us, pushing us to do bad deeds. It's always trying to command us to do bad deeds. So we should be aware of that fact that we have a jinn assigned to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, commanding us to do bad deeds. So we should strive as much as, because if we are to attain Jannah, we should be able to caution ourselves, always purify our hearts, because once you are commanded to do evil, you find yourself doing bad deeds. So
You've
how are
not
you
answered
going
my
to attain?
question. Oh. My question
Yes,
is how do we get it stained?
I'm going to
I've
that.
already
So we need
started getting to the question of purifying heart. Okay, yeah, I'm listening. How do we get it stained? How do we get it stained?
how do we get our hearts purified? One, we
Stained,
should
stained. She said, how do that? Well, you know, because we get our heart stained, that's why we need to purify it. So I asked, how do we get it stained? What are the things that we, how do we get our heart dirty? Dirty,
oh
Ogun State
oh,
people, how do we
oh
get our heart stained?
dirty. Okay, how do we get our hearts dirty? Now, it's basically from sins, from the things we do, even the slightest things. It's basically sins. Sins, the littlest of things, stains. It drops a dark spot on our hearts, and it gets bigger, it gets bigger, it gets bigger like that. So we need to like be conscious of our actions that are sinful. So sins
Hmm.
basically are those things that makes our hearts get dirty and get us away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
MashaAllah. That I know that you are a therapist. Besides, do you think there are other things besides sins that can pollute the heart? Maybe from
Yes,
experience.
I think basically, I know we're all born on the fitra. Every child is born with a natural sense of goodness. So everything that corrupts that sense of goodness is what can stay in the heart. Anything, in simple terms, anything that detracts you from Allah is what can stay
Hmm.
in the heart. So the goal is to anything, everything we do, we watch, we see, we say, we act. Is this thing taking me closer to Allah or taking me further away from Allah? And I think that's the easiest way for us to do a self-assessment of whether we're getting our hearts stained or actually cleaning our hearts. So basically, it's
Hmm.
anything that detracts from Allah. And it all
Okay.
boils down to having a knowledge of Allah and what He
Hmm.
wants. So it's easier when you know what Allah wants, then you can, it's easy for us to decide or to agree that this thing is actually good for my heart or it's staining my heart. And then when we talk about sins, we have the major sins, we have the minor sins. We have the sins that we know, like the murder, um, like stealing, like all those major ones, like shirk. And then we have the seemingly smaller sins like the gossip and the backbiting that we do on a normal basis. So the goal is just to see, okay, this thing I'm doing right now, is it pulling me towards Allah or taking me further away from Allah? And that's how we stay in our hearts.
Okay, mashallah, mashallah. So I do agree. Definitely, the most obvious way from the position of the Sharia is that sins definitely corrupts the heart. Sins stains the heart. However, from a lot of the psychological researches and trauma study that we are listening to, oftentimes people do have corrupt hearts, even when they, I mean, you meet children. I mean, we from nurturing. People do have
Yeah.
contact from nurturing.
Yes.
What's your say on that? I mean, a poor child that was born up on the soil, feature, born in a Muslim home. We're not even going to say that they were born in a non-Muslim home. Born in a Muslim home, and for some reason they pick a heart, and you're looking at a 5-year-old and you're thinking, "Are you devil's spawn?
Wow.
Are you a devil's spawn?" I mean, do you have a say to that? Because in reality, there are people you meet and you're like, is this person possessed or what?
Yeah.
What do you have to say to that?
Sad but true. A lot of who we become stems from our nurturing. We've always had that lifelong debate of nature versus nurture. So nature, yes, fitra, but nurturing, it's where a whole lot of things go wrong. And nurturing
Mm,
in this sense is just not from the immediate family. We talk about the
mm,
environment, we talk about all the areas of socialization. So you can say, okay, yes, in my house, we don't do this. But where your house is located is a space where there's a lot of this filth and all those things that can actually
correct.
stain a person and corrupt a
Mm,
child's mind. So you can have a from a child from a Muslim home, but unfortunately lives in a society or in a community that is far from being Islamic. And the truth is,
mm,
as Muslims, as mothers, as parents, you can't be with a child 24/7. So sometimes you try your best and the child still turns out the other way. This is where I think dua, in such case,
yeah,
dua.
yeah,
Because when
right.
it is out of your control, now to beg Allah, oh, ya Allah, this
You
child.
know, because in fact, this whole thing, and I have an experience with someone whose family, and sometimes you just look at him like, how? Like, where did you develop this heart? You know, and it can be. I mean, we talk about, when we talk about, oh, the sins pollute our hearts. We're talking about maybe adults,
Yeah.
but some of this, even the action, the intention, the frequency of the intention of the sins also comes from, does not start from the sin, though, because the sin is just the action. The sin is a thought of something that's corrupted before. And
Yes.
sometimes the corruption has happened long before,
Before that time.
long before the sin was even connect
Mhm.
the sin was had. And so a lot of times when people answer the question of the heart being corrupted and people say sin, 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 me listen from a CBT perspective or a
Mhm.
therapy perspective, I'm like, no, yes, the sin
Is
is like
there?
what, like a symptom mostly. The sin is like a symptom mostly, and
Mhm.
the root of it, to be able to
Yeah.
go to person, there's a need to understand how we got here.
Right. Mhm.
And sometimes if I'm to answer the question of what things they are, I would add that experiences, the way that life happens to
Yes.
you.
Yes.
The nurturing is the way the people happen to you. So
Mhm.
when you say nurture, that's an example. The way people happen to you, your parents, the way they happen to you,
Mhm.
the way they guided you or not. Because some people, some of us, mashallah, alhamdulillah, we're grateful.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
very blessed. I mean, to have someone guide you is even a blessing. Some people don't have
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
You
Many
know,
people don't have.
that.
Many people.
They don't have that. So the third theme, so we say sin, we say nurturing, and I like to add even life experiences,
Yeah.
because
Definitely.
life can turn you into a beast.
360 degrees, and all the home training will fly out the door.
As in, you self, you say that, hey, with my drama, family elsewhere. Life can, some things will shock you. If you,
Mhm.
especially if it's first time experience, when it's another experience, your body will build some coping mechanism. But
Yeah.
that first time, it will hit
Uh,
you like, I
like a ton
remember
of bricks.
I remember an experience, a lot of experience just happened back to back to back, and it was
Mhm.
about, I'm lying on my bed, cold, in fetal position, and telling myself that I will not talk to people again. I'm not going to be nice to people again. Oh, I'm be friends with people again. And then I'm like, wait, that's shaitan. That's what I thought. People are important. And I started to tell myself the sisterhood is important, the brotherhood is important, Islam is important. This is I thought. I had to literally
Mm,
affirm myself out of
yes.
that resolution
Mm-hmm.
because I realized that that resolution is going to
It's
stain my heart,
actually
it's going
wrong.
to harden it. And
Yes.
I will become that person that people will like, Muti, you were not like this before. Now, why you people show me changing? You know? So yes, sins, nurturing, and experiences. And it's important that we are able to categorize this so that when we are beginning to, because when we are working on it, some people will be listening and saying that, how many sin am I sinning? Yes, all of us are sinning. What the small
Yeah,
small gist that
but
we're giving. But we don't take account to do that. And in the scope of things, some people are not very sinful, but their hearts have
mm-hmm.
been hardened. And in
Yes.
truth, they don't understand how. So most people don't even understand that trauma has hardened them. They don't even understand that they've gone through
Well,
trauma.
there's trauma in the first place.
Yeah. Do you have any experience meeting people like that? That they don't even understand why they are like that.
Yes, I've met a
Is
couple
also
of
still a
people.
thing.
I've met a couple of people that I just, and they tell you this is just the way I am. Like you can't just, it can't just be the way you are. Nobody's born the way I am with a strong heart or the heart that is unable to do things or to forgive all those things. So yes, it's a combination of nurturing, experience, life. Life happens. For some people, it's not even their own personal experiences, but something somebody close to them has
Mm,
experienced. So they're like, life, this thing must not happen to me. So they already built
mm,
walls. They already built walls that no,
mm,
I can't, no, I'm not this person, so this cannot happen to me. So they are in battle mode already, and then the heart gets hardened.
mm, mm,
A
mm,
lot of factors. It's a
mm,
lot of factors. And I
mm,
like the part where you said that when you had that feeling and you had to talk to yourself out of that feeling of not talking to people, that comes from a place of knowledge. If you don't know it as
mm,
being wrong, you wouldn't even be able to acknowledge or that this is wrong and this could possibly be from Shaitan, and that this is what I need to guard myself against. So it still goes back
mashallah, yeah.
to knowledge.
Yes, it
Knowledge.
was knowledge, and I think that the
Knowledge.
great of it is, most people, you know what the Yoruba people say, they bomb me, and then I bomb
Mhm.
myself. You know,
Yes, so
that's
you be,
so one
yeah,
otura maybe because
yes.
some of it, yes, to be nurtured. I mean, most nurturing will happen in the first 10 years. I would say that the most nurturing that my parents, the biggest difference were in the first 10 years. Once I entered boarding house, everything else was a was more like a trade by barter, like
Yeah.
because there's now another bigger influence. Once you enter
Mm-hmm.
secondary school, for those of us that
Mm-mm.
went boarding house, even the boarding house itself had bigger influence than even the parents.
And the
But
parents, definitely.
that thing that was filled in the cup in the first 10 years was always going to be stronger.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be stronger because that's when the personality was shaped. But even at that, there are still some things that as life was happening, you are retraining yourself. And I think what happened for me, what was a gift for me at that time, was that prior to that time, I'd already started a healing journey. So I'd
Mm.
started a healing journey, and some of the lessons I was taking away from the journey, well, and the journey was still fresh. I mean, it was about a couple of years. So the lessons I was still trying to balance. It was as if Allah wants to say, "Sure, you have learned. Let us test whether you have learned."
Let's
Like
test
Allah
you.
wanted to do an exam. Like let's
Mm.
test. So it's called Masha. And I'm lying down here. And I'm listening to everybody, and I'm like, I'm never going to do things with sisters again. I'm not going to clinical with sisters again. And I'm like, wait, hold up. Just one or two sisters, no share, oh, not the whole
And you are
sisterhood.
tagging all of us, eh?
Like,
We
so sometimes
innocent people.
innocent. Oh. So usually, have you had
Mm.
an experience where it wasn't a sin, but your heart was hardening? Have you had any such of experience?
There is a personal there is a an experience where I had good intention for somebody about something, and the person mistook my good intention and turned it upside down. Like I was shocked that this was not the reason why I okay, so it was a conversation. It was a conversation, between I and our other friend about one person, but she was present there, right? She was present there. I was just like, this is what this person is doing. And as our friends, we should be able to call her to action. And
Okay.
before I knew
Yes.
it, the conversation turned on me. And I was like, wow, it was an experience for me because I checked myself that I just realized that these people are just you think they are your friends, but you are the one that are friends with them. They aren't really your friends. Like that experience actually showed me that they were not my friends. I was the one thinking that they were my friends, and it was so shocking. For I cried for days, but then I was like, okay, alhamdulillah that I experienced that lesson. And since then, I just decided that, oh, no more friends. Let me just keep to myself for a while. And I didn't
Ha!
have friends. Yes,
For a
I
long
didn't,
time.
I didn't have friends. It's something that happened. It was something that happened in the university. I was still cordial with them. I was still cordial with them. They didn't know that resolution because even back then there was no really boundary. I didn't really have much boundaries about the things that happened to me, the way people treat me, and all of that. So I was still cordial with them, even though they don't feel remorse. But they knew what they did was wrong, but they don't feel remorse because I took it, and I was still cordial with them. But I decided that at that point, it will just be friendship on the surface, no more intimate something. Let us know our level. So, but after years, I know that now I've made a lot of friends. I've grown. I've
Yeah.
developed myself to understand that, see, there are bad people and there are even more good people. So why not like find your circle of good people and work with them? Alhamdulillah, so far in fact I've always thank Allah for making me since I came to this Lagos. I didn't know one person when I came to this Lagos except my husband. And alhamdulillah, I've never met any bad people. Till where I am today, I can say it's just people within the Muslim Ummah that have been supportive, that have been sisters from another mother, uncles from another father, and all of that. So
Because
those
your
that
resolution changed. Because your
yes,
resolution changed. If you had hardened your heart
Yes.
and you had carried that hard heart inside Lagos,
Mm-hmm.
Lagosians will not
exactly,
keep you again. This Lagos, I've not met bad
exactly.
people in Lagos. Ogolo Oresi. There is your you shege. So sometimes too, and I think that one of the importance of purifying the heart, and that's the next question really, is that it also it's not just about, oh, we want to enter paradise and like we want to enter paradise or curb the way that we happen to people, because sometimes when the most times it's always about the way we happen to people or happen
Yeah.
back to life. It
Mm-hmm.
also it's I mean taking it from a story, it also it defines the way that we allow life to happen to
What
us.
happened to us? Yes.
We
Yes.
allow it, we perceive it. It's there because a lot of times you are thinking that everybody in the world is bad to you, but you are the one that is not even allowing the goodness
Find
to
them to be bad.
enter. you
Mm-hmm.
know so if there's
Mm-hmm.
any excuse on why you need to purify your heart, definitely that's one of it, because I mean, for one, I know that the moment that my heart started to be open, more open and
Mm-hmm.
mindful, because that one is
Mm-hmm.
also key.
Very important.
A lot of people have open hearts, but
Mm.
they don't have self-preservation. They don't have boundaries.
Yes.
They are
No
not
boundaries.
intentional.
They take
They
all
are
the
not
shit and
mindful.
everything.
So
Yeah.
they are open like a house that doesn't have
Animal
gate.
sound. They are nice people. Very nice. They
So,
take
and I
everything.
think that we should talk about that. There are a lot of misconception about
Mm-hmm.
a purified heart or what that represents in us. A lot of people think that because you are nice, it means that your heart is purified, da.
Yeah,
And
dash.
we also get ourselves in trouble by
In trouble.
thinking that everybody that's nice has a good
Yes.
heart. What do you say to that?
I used okay. My family growing up, we're a close knit family, and they shaped my definition of nice people, sincere, integrity, and all that. So
Hmm.
I assumed the whole world was like that. And
Oh,
then
the
I
good
was
people
lucky
syndrome.
growing up. I've actually always had pretty good friends, really good friends. So I was in this cocoon. I thought the world was beautiful. The sky is blue. Everybody is nice. You know, when you are nice, people will be nice to you. And then
Oh.
I got some shockers. I was like,
Hmm.
what? And then I had some people I really trusted, and they, you know, when they say betrayal, you know that betrayal that enter your heart, go go go, and it will be doing bang bang in your head.
You know, it's like they break it into two.
No, two is even nice. Maybe two,
They
you just
scattered
put
it.
it down. They shatter,
Scattered.
pa 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 pa.
Ah, that one is
And
pain.
I went through this pain. It was
Hmm.
pain. It was hurtful. I went through this deep pain, and I was like, "But I'm a good person, ya Allah." And I
Allah.
realized that I was a good person without some certain boundaries in place.
Hmm.
And I was a good person and assumed that everybody would be like me.
Hmm.
And then I had to start relearning some of the things I learned from my family. I had to relearn that not everybody will be nice to you, and it's okay. That is them. Not everybody can be like me, and it is okay. And then I have to now work on setting my boundaries and letting people know, okay, I will take this and this, but I will not take this and that. And for
And that's the
me,
hard part, right?
that
It's
makes,
very hard going from a
yeah,
nice girl to firm.
yes, now, exactly. And I think last week, one of my colleagues was like, "What happened to you? You used to be nice." I say, "Yes, now the
I'm
operational
still
word being
nice.
used to be used to be
You were used.
that
I
I
was
used to be
used.
that I'm still nice, so but you know there are boundaries. Now I can
Yeah.
say no with my full chest. Now I can say I
Yeah.
don't like it. I don't like it. I don't have
So
to
we'll
panic.
say that we can say that the first tip is to protect your
Mhm.
heart. Protect your
Yes,
heart. Protect it.
exactly. And
Do you know
another
thing?
that what that thing also made me realize was that I had to be careful not to become the person I was complaining about other people becoming. It's a very
Hmm.
thin line.
Hmm.
It's a
Yeah.
very thin line.
Very,
So,
very, very,
yeah, so my
very.
mantra became I would not change who I am because of your bad behavior.
Hmm.
So
That's a
because
strong one.
yeah, it is. It took me years to I had to start talking to myself. I was like, no, I wouldn't this is who I am. This is who I am. I'm a slave of Allah. I struggle like every other person. I have my good side, I have my horrible days. But I will not change my essence because of somebody's behavior. And I
Somebody's
think it's very
essence.
important. Yes, we all have our essence. We have things that make us uniquely who we are. And we should be very careful to not lose that essence. Because
Hmm.
to me, that's what makes it unique. That's what makes us beautiful slaves of Allah. I
So
can be like
basically,
any other person.
guard
Mhm.
your heart. Guard your
Yes,
heart.
got it.
Guard it.
Got it.
Don't put a
First
wall.
law of the
Don't
jungle,
protect it.
Neo. The first
Huh?
law of the jungle. The first law of the jungle, self-preservation.
Yes, I think a lot of us don't have that, and we just let everything happen to our heart. We break our hearts by the fact that we don't protect it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the first law that many of us who were raised by people trying to raise good people, because
Mm-hmm.
I mean I think that even our parents at the time they were raising us to be good people, we're also seeing the shege that good people see. Oh.
Yes,
But they didn't
so
know any how were they going to even raise us to expect shege. So for instance now, and that's why I think a lot of times one of the ways nurturing affects your heart is that you end up absorbing your parents trial, or their
yes.
you end up absorbing their trauma. I
Mm-hmm.
remember that my mom is my mom used to be, and sometimes she is most times. I say used to be because she has changed a great deal. My mom is an introvert, or used to be an introvert. And at the
Okay.
time, I would say, oh, my mom's an introvert. My mom's, it's now that I look back, I realize that maybe my mom wasn't an introvert. Maybe that face was a protective face. Maybe it was a
Mm-hmm.
wall. Because now I see my mom being social, and I'm like, and my mom is probably the
Where did that
funniest.
come from?
Yes, like she's probably one person who makes me laugh. If I am having a
Wow.
terrible day, I just need to call my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Or my mom just calls me. For instance, yesterday she called me while I was doing this session yesterday. And then she's like, I just check your status. I saw clip. That clip, big for any other, and I'm like, clip 500 naira. Let me move. And I'm like, I'm not giving you artificial show. Hello, you know, you know. And that's not, she's not even trying to be funny. And she also sometimes she will say something that like, when were you like this? And what I've seen
Mhm.
is that I see a huge woman. Now,
Mhm.
in the time she was raising us, life was happening to
Mhm.
her. Yet she kept
Yeah.
telling us to be who she was. And
Mhm.
but one thing I realized that by the time I was entering the university, I'm a very
Mhm.
extroverted person. I make friends
Yeah.
easily, you know, all those extrovert stuff. But I didn't know how to
Mhm.
keep friends. And it was the bane of my existence. I didn't know how to
Mhm.
keep friends. I didn't know how to go deep with people. And then one day I was like,
Yeah.
"What reason?" And I realized it was because my mom, at that time, in those formative years,
Mhm.
she didn't have friends. Friends were breaking her heart and she was moving away. So my mom would say to me, "My best friend. Hey, show her full friends, oh." You know, the things that were coming out of her mouth. Like you said, sometimes
Yes.
we absorb people's we absorb people's trauma. So some of those
Mhm.
experiences are not our own. And I look back and
Mhm.
realized that a great deal of my self-preservation came from absorbing my mom's
Yeah.
trials silently. Some of them she
Mhm.
said out, some of them you just, children just can't tell.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
just can tell. Some of them
Yeah.
I'm looking back like this is layer now. Before we used to travel, when we used to travel to our hometown, all my
Mhm.
cousins will be going about everywhere. I don't go.
Mhm.
I don't go anywhere. I stay by my mother's side. When I look back now and I ask myself why,
Right.
I'm an extrovert. Leaving the house should be key. When did I become? And I realized that my ambivert came from the fact that I used to stay by my mother's side because the little child that I was knew that she needed someone by her side. And so
Mm.
I used to stay by her side, not because I love her so much, or I love the house so much. Or
Yeah.
people
Very
say,
instinctively.
yeah,
Mhm.
Oniko
Mhm.
Legbe here. I was actually
Mhm.
now as an adult, I look back and I was trying to make sense of that experience and realized that I used to stay by her side to protect her. That was
Yeah.
the only way that I knew to protect her. Just be
Yes.
there for her. A home person. She has somebody. And you're talking about empty. Kò yẹ kí gbogbo wa fi wọ́n lẹ̀. That's what. And this is
Mhm.
a child. It shouldn't be my
Yeah.
responsibility to be protecting her. But
Yes.
that's it.
It
And
is
I
what it is.
formed certain character from that experience, even without knowing. Until you
Yeah.
become an adult and you're trying to unlearn, and like, where did
Mhm.
that come from? Why did that go there?
Mhm.
You are going to say something.
Yes, I wanted to say that it's an unconscious thing. When we love people, we pick up on the nuances around them. And so it's just when you love them, you just they don't say it, and kids are very intuitive. So
Yeah.
she didn't have to say anything. You just somehow felt something was out of place and you needed
And
to
I
be
don't
there.
even remember many of the experiences. I mean, the ones that I remembered, maybe I was already 16, 14, 15, 16. Those were the ones I could remember. Maybe 14, the earliest. But a lot of it, you can't remember them, but they're somewhere. They're
Yeah.
somewhere, and you can tell, right? So
Mm-hmm.
let's move on to the last part, purification of that. We've talked about how our hearts get hardened from experience,
Mm-hmm.
from sins. And I really
Mm-hmm.
wanted us to talk about experience a lot because the sins are clear. Oh.
Yeah.
The sins are clear. Unless you want
Abitabafe
to launch yourself, exactly.
exactly.
And Yoruba people say you're too broomer. And when you're still suffering, could I tell you don't need time? Because it's
Honestly.
time. Because
Yeah.
it's time that my suffering also say, you know that oh brew. You know. And then when you were saying something about nice people, I also want to say that I just remembered it now that I wanted to chip in that when you begin to set up boundaries, right? And
Mm-hmm.
which is like we say the first step towards purification is to guard your heart.
Yeah.
Guard your heart. And when people will ask you how, you need to put on you first I would say the first step is to have self-awareness. First
Yes.
even find out what's the state
Yes.
of my heart, right?
Yes. Yes. It
So
all boils down
and
to
okay, so and that thing I wanted to say about people who now say you're not nice again. People, I mean, I was on one WhatsApp group and they were saying some people are not nice, and then they tagged the owner of the group, myself. I think it was me and Kim, and they said I'm really nice. And Kim will always say it, I'm not nice, so I'm not nice. And someone tagged me and Sister Mchada said, "Hold up, me I'm nice. I am a very nice person.
nice.
I'm firm.
But
I'm
mm-hmm.
firm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
because Al Martin is my Lord. I am a firm person. I am disciplined. I will not collect rubber. I mean, I'm a coach now. How will I survive as a coach if I'm not told that? But you cannot say I'm not nice. I refuse to collect it. There's a misconception about niceness
Mhm.
and skinny. People see people who allow all sort of rubbish
As
as being
nice.
nice
Yeah.
until they destroy your heart and
Yes.
scatter
Yes. And generally, they said nice people see you as being nice when they can get away with anything they want from you.
Hmm.
As long as they get what they want from you, then you're a nice person.
Preach, preach,
So
preach,
it doesn't
preach.
matter if that thing they wanted is good for you or not. So
Them. Or even them.
it's them. It's all about them and what they can get from you. So
Hmm.
that's the general definition of nice. Ah, Ìyàwó dáadáa ni, and she's ìyàwó dáadáa because she doesn't talk. When we go for Ilé Ọdún, she
And she
does
they
all
do
the
everything.
cooking, she do everything. She doesn't
All the five
complain. She
grams
do hair. She fried the 10 rams without
at house.
complaint. Yes, now. And then she's by 10 p.m. That's the only time she's going to take a bath
That
and
10 p.m.
change.
said, "What is the best soon?" They will say, Yawo.
Ṣé kò wá sí nǹkan tá a lè fi gún ni ayé bàbá ọkọ mi mò ń bọ̀. So that's a nice wife, really. That's
Hmm.
the definition of a nice wife.
And if you're
So when
listening and
people
you're
can
wondering,
walk, mm-hmm, when people can
people
walk
can walk
over you,
over you.
yeah,
And for
you're
those
nice.
people listening and wondering, because some people are joining us from YouTube now, they're probably wondering, are we saying that wives should not? We're not saying that.
No, 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 no,
We're
no.
not
This is a
saying that. We're
conversation
saying
we need to
protect your
have.
heart.
Yes.
Protect your heart.
By
Because the truth
saying
is
be
that many of these
nice.
women get broken, they become bitter.
Mm-hmm.
What happens? And
Yes.
that's why you need to protect your heart. Because at the end of the day, the bitterness is coming from your heart. You continue to take all sort
Mm-hmm.
of nonsense until your heart
Mm-hmm.
hardens. And then you have a
Mm-hmm.
360 change. And they will say, ah,
Yeah.
what's it that?
Ó ti dàjẹ́, yeah.
So
And
we're not
I
saying
think
don't serve. Serve.
mm-hmm.
With
Mm-hmm.
sense,
Yeah, by all
with
means, serve
preservation.
with joy. Serve with joy because it is a time of joy, but
Mm,
know when to stop. And that's where that self preservation comes in. Because
yeah.
what happens is when you let people walk all over you, hmm, at first is okay. You may not even realize they're walking over you. And then
Mm.
eventually resentment starts building up,
That's
especially
a
for
stain,
women.
right? That's a big stain on the
Especially
heart.
as women, we are very
Yes.
good at internalizing. So we
Mm.
internalize all those things. We don't express our pain. We don't express our hurt. And then you start hating people.
Hmm.
You see them and you are angry.
Mm. And anger is terrible. Hey,
They are here and then you
what
are
is the day?
foaming
What is
and
the day? What is
foaming
the day?
inside your heart. And you
Hmm.
have a smile on your face, but in your heart, you are hating on them. At the end of the day, it's your heart that you are placing pressure on. So
Yeah.
that's why we
Yeah.
said that self-preservation of protecting your heart. At the end of it, it's not
Mm.
about them, it's about you.
How are you?
Because when this resentment builds, it turns to bitterness, and then you start acting in ways that are not natural to you, and then you become a bad person. There is
Hmm.
no, you become a bad person. You see them, and then you start acting in ways you shouldn't even have allowed in the first place.
Even you
So
wake
that's
up one day and be like, what have I become?
so, and sometimes it's too late to change.
To go back, right?
It's too late. You've been doing this for
Because healing
years.
is hard.
It
Healing
is
is hard.
hard, very hard. So you've
Healing
been
is
this
hard.
person
Oh.
for years and you are resenting it. And they say, oh, we are going for a Iliodun, and you are angry and you are snapping at the children. You are snapping
Hmm.
at everybody. And you can't say that I am tired because you've taken it for so long. And then you start
And you
hating on
also
people.
would have done some things too that are
Mm-hmm.
unforgivable, that makes reconciliation so hard. Because
Yeah.
that's the thing, you would have become this person. You may even have
Mm-hmm.
done worse than was done to you, and then
Yes.
reconciling becomes
Becomes a
difficult.
problem. Becomes difficult. Becomes
So if you're
difficult.
wondering how do you prefer your wife, the first step is to guide it. And to guide it, the first step, of course, is to even check the state. What is the state of your heart right now?
Yes.
And then it takes
Knowledge.
you to the state of your heart for your affairs. And this is where you now want to check what have you been so people pleasing. The people you hate, where is it coming from? A lot of
Why
times
do
you
you
find that
hate
it's
them?
coming from you. Why?
Mm-hmm.
What did you say?
I said when you hate people, you start to ask yourself, why do I hate them? What have they
Hmm.
done for me to hate them? I mean, you can't just wake up hating people, except you're a
I'm
witch.
gonna hate it. I'm gonna hate it. I don't know. I just hate it. I don't
Yeah,
know
and
why.
I Jeff
There
or
has
your
to be a
family
why.
house.
There has to be a why, and you need to get to the bottom of it. Otherwise, you will not. And I think that's why purifying the heart, if you allow it to become so hard, and if you allow it, going back is hard because
Yeah,
those questions, they are not comfortable questions to answer
they're
by
not.
yourself.
They're
Healing
not.
is difficult.
It is.
Hey,
It
tell
is.
someone who self-healed. It is hard work. It's a lot of question every day. Waking up with a view to ask this, trying to link things. Some of those answers are embedded in your subconscious. You can't even bring it out. It takes years. And of course, but one thing powerful about it is at the moment you decided that I want to change, it's like as if, I mean, sincerity of it, Allah just continue to line things up for you. But it
Yeah.
will be difficult too because sometimes you take 10 steps forward and then
Yeah.
you get
20
pushed
steps backwards.
20 backwards and you want
And
to
then
give up.
like, and then
Why is
yeah.
it important that one must not give up on purifying one's heart? Why is it important that one, I mean, why is purification so important to us as humans?
I think for me, I would say that knowing, excuse me, knowing how important the heart is, knowing that the heart is the center of everything I do, knowing that I am answerable to Allah,
Hmm.
knowing that when I die, I want to be able to say, Ya Allah, this life that you gave me, I lived it and I lived it well to the best of my ability. Please accept me into your Jannah. For me,
Hmm.
that is my driving force. Personally. Now it would you yourself would have to decide what's the driving force for you because we are different.
Yeah.
For me, Jannah is a big motivator. It's Jannah that can let me look at the person that has broken my heart into a million pieces and say, you know what? You hurt me, but I forgive you because I don't want to be this person with a hardened heart. I don't want
Hmm.
to be this person who hates people. I don't want to be this person who resents people. So, because of that, Ya Allah, please help me to forgive this person because I want to do good and earn Al Jannah. That is
Mashallah.
me personally.
Mashallah. Of course, that should be for anyone, any Muslim listening. That should be our first, our very first reason, right? But let's
Mm-hmm.
even come back to saying you don't want to carry this in. It is a burden to carry.
The body,
You
no,
can't
very heavy something.
like a dark heart is heavy. It's not normal. It's not healthy.
It's not.
Physically, it is not healthy. Spiritually, it is not healthy. Emotionally, no,
Medically,
medically, like
especially for
emotionally, you are like a
women.
firecracker. Like any small
Yeah,
thing, you are, yeah.
honestly, it explode.
We are more beastly than human.
Yeah, and
And
people have to start walking on eggshells. Ah, Erora, Emma,
um,
so Emokotel is so seeing you. She's very this. We have to be careful about her. People have to start micromanaging their words around you. And
no,
then
it is
for
quite
me, there
different.
was a day I read this research, and it said that for women especially, that when we have all this emotional baggage which are unaddressed, they start to manifest as physical symptoms of illnesses. I was like,
Yeah.
and I was like, no, why would I make myself fall sick now? How about? So it's like
Hmm.
you're building these things, and at the end of the day, you're harming, self harming. So you have all
Yes,
these
and then
toxic.
from a social perspective, so from a health
Mm-hmm,
perspective, yes, a lot of the
mm-hmm,
things we carry really just manifest. I mean, for instance, you're stressed, you're having migraine. That's already
mm-hmm,
physical manifestation. A lot
mm-hmm,
of times, you're just thinking about things, and then before you know it, you're depressed. Before you know it, some people end up with stroke. Some people
yeah,
end up with heart attack.
heart
Sometimes when
attack.
I get some palpitations, I'm like, hey, I want to be like, yo, me na shaitan.
Follow
So I
what
do.
please, yeah,
Like
Allah.
sometimes when you are so depressed with something or someone does something, me, I get physically ill from
Mm-hmm.
worrying, from even
Yes.
when I fight with someone that I like, when I
Mm-hmm.
fight with a loved one and I can't
Mm-hmm.
go to bed, I won't be able to sleep. I will
Yeah.
just wake up the next day and my chest hurts.
Hurts. Yeah,
Right?
that
So,
physical pain.
yes, I so carry hatred in my chest. And for people that, there are a few times here and there that you carry some hatred for a while or some
Mm-hmm.
annoyance. I
Mm-hmm.
realized that when I'm having, and there was at least two people that I carry that strong emotion with. And there's one particular person. Whenever I see the person, the hair on my skin stands up.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
I'm
those
like, okay.
hives, those goosebumps are
Good, yes. Like I'll see the
yes.
person and my hand, if I did it like this, I would tremble and the hair will stand up. And I'm like, okay, okay, we need
This
help.
is
We need
danger.
help. We need help. Now I see someone
Yeah.
and my head go, and it will hook
You
me and
can't
like,
breathe.
there.
Literally can't breathe.
Yes, and you
Hmm.
can't breathe. I'm like, I need to work on me. So
And
healing,
sometimes it
and
affects a
so the
lot.
healing and the letting go of it is for you
Hmm.
first.
Yeah, it is.
Emotionally, it's for you. Spiritually, of course,
Yeah,
spiritually. And it's the
definitely.
fact that we say that the biggest thing that stains our heart is sins. And a lot of times when you carry this burden, they push you upon sins. Like that's
Yes.
it. You are gossiping about them. You are cursing. Sometimes you're cursing. Sometimes people will
Mm-hmm.
be saying nice things. I'll be like, "Tani, taleni, thanks for." And
Mm-hmm.
it takes a lot of maturity for me to say. So someone called me and said, "Can you, Samchat, we need you on board on this. We penned you down deaf that you be part of it." And I'm like, I can't be part of it because of the person you're partnering with. And the person said, "Ha, what did the person do to you?" Let me tell you, if I had not healed, if I don't have an awareness of what is going on in my chest, I would have committed a great fitna that day.
Yeah.
The first thing that comes to mind is to start saying what the person did to me. And this is what
Mm-hmm.
the person did was 4 years ago. And I'm like, I told the person that I can't tell you. It's a personal experience
Mm-hmm.
that may be personal to me. That is personal to
That's
me.
to
I
me.
cannot
Mm-hmm.
share because I don't know if this person has changed,
Changed.
if he
Yeah.
has seek forgiveness from Allah, and if he has changed in character and is operating from his new person. I would not want to take away this opportunity from him because of that one sin or that one
That is true.
experience that I had with him. See, that day, I did start the shukra. I sat down, I was like, hey,
You
Emina,
don't grow.
because it took a lot to be the big person. I have
Yeah.
the power. In fact, let me tell you, that evening, the
Mm-hmm.
boss of that person sent a message to me that the person went to their team and said, Samtat has a reservation with working with this person. I think
Okay.
that we need to consider that reservation and maybe we shouldn't go ahead with the thing.
Wow.
And it became, I knew that if I spoke, it could.
It would,
And I
yeah.
knew the organization respected me and they
Mm-hmm.
would take my word for it because they trust
Mm-hmm.
me. They trust me. And I thought, and the person said, sometimes I need to hear the story. The boss, the MD said, I need to hear the story because we need to use it to decide. I said, I can't tell you. I said, please don't call me. I beg you. Please don't let me commit a sin because I don't know if this person has changed.
That's
Allah
changed.
forgives us of our sin, even if we keep doing it over and over. It will not be fair if I say this and this person has changed. I would rather let you do it to you. I'm sorry,
Over.
like
Mm-hmm.
let
Mm-hmm.
him make a mistake again and you can decide from that. Than for me to tell you something that is personal. Maybe I was even the one who internalized it like that. Maybe
Wow.
if somebody looked at the situation objectively, maybe he had not even
Mm-hmm.
done something wrong. It's the therapist again that was talking. It is the taqwa
Yeah.
because and
Yes.
that's why I know a lot of people, some people from this same experience I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about. I still went to Abeokuta in December and somebody was still sitting me down to say this person called and said and reported you. And I'm
Research.
like, why? How? So this person saw my poster, and that's what they've been doing for me. They see my poster working with people they know, they call the person and report me and say, Mutiwoni, I will not become them. And I know I hope
Exactly. Thank you.
they
Thank you
are
for
watching
that.
this. Anyone who knows them, watch this. Tell them that I'm not going to become them. Me, I am not talking
Exactly.
about them because it is a sin what they are doing. What they are doing is giba. What they are doing is a
Mm-hmm.
sin that is
Mm-hmm.
continuously polluting their heart. I will not
Mm-hmm.
become them. I have not become them. I do not enter any room. I have mentees working with them. I have mentors working with them. I have people coming to me to ask about them, and I am not
Mm-hmm.
using that experience to spoil them. But they continue to do it for me,
Shit.
and Allah knows best. But I will
Yeah.
not let them. I won't become
Mhm.
that because I know what
Exactly.
it does to the heart. And
Mm-hmm.
another reason, if you are thinking of another reason, beside the fact that it will push you more to sin, another reason is
Mm-hmm.
that it will also shape your experiences with people.
Human experience. Yes.
Because you enter
Yeah.
every room saying, I don't want to, like Aisha was saying, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to. And the prayers that you are asking for too, it can also be a barrier,
Mm.
right?
Right.
Right? Sometimes
Right.
some things will happen to people. I'll be like, shy ain't shaming. No. Before you even
Ayo,
say shy ain't
shio.
shaming, tell him to check his heart.
Ayo,
Tell
shio.
you check your heart.
Yeah.
If you are not sincere, when people come to me and say, sometimes is it only me? Everything is falling apart. The first thing I always tell them in class is that go and do ablution and pray. And then
And
when they come
pray.
back, I say, check your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Check your heart. The state of your heart and your mind
Can be a
is
barrier.
is a barrier. Sometimes when
Mm-hmm.
you see things scattering around you, before
Mm-hmm.
you start thinking of evil eye and eye, first check your own heart. Because sometimes even you self, you
It's
get evil
evil
eye for
heart.
yourself.
It's evil
You
heart,
have
not
evil
evil eye.
eyes. The
It's
evil heart.
a
Check your
personal
heart.
evil heart.
If you don't see evil in your heart, then check your state of tawakkul. One
Mm-hmm.
of it is imbalance.
Is it? Yeah.
And that's something that I've learned in the last 5 years. And when they say that brother has been suffering, he's still suffering, people will say, ah, maybe you should check his sins. Not even the sin that you have sinned. Me, let him check his heart
Present
now.
one. Presently.
Healing, looking his state heart one is sincerity. You are not sincere to people and you want goodness in this life.
It's not
Uh-uh.
possible.
No,
But
keep
Allah will
iron
provide.
now.
Allah is not. Allah is a very just God.
Is just.
So,
Check
yeah,
your
Allah
heart.
is just.
And so
Allah is
the
just.
state of your heart is also very, and you see people, neuroscientists and all these people about the universe and co, they say something about the vibration you are vibrating.
Mm-hmm. The
And you want to
energy.
say that they are lying. But when you look at it from the context of what Islam says about the heart, and
Mm-hmm.
what the Rasul Sallallahu says about
About the heart.
once your heart is polluted, it's
Mm-hmm.
everything else is polluted.
About the
You
heart.
can really make sense of what they are saying about the
Yeah.
vibration thing. Check
Yes.
what you are vibrating, what they're thinking. It's very, very, very important. So
It is a
what are the steps? What are the other steps that you would advise for anyone who wants to purify their hearts?
um the first I can always say is knowledge. And that's why I'm so in love with that first verse of the Quran. Ikra, Ikra, Ikra. I'm so obsessed
Hmm.
with that word. Knowledge.
Hmm.
Because if you are purifying the heart, we even need to know what state should the heart be in for it to be purified.
Yeah.
What do we regard as a sound heart? So if you don't know what you're looking for, it's going to be a tad difficult finding your way there. So let's
Hmm.
first know what does it entail to have a purified heart? What does it entail to have a sincere heart? And then we can now talk about the steps to purification of the heart. And there was this who was this sheikh? I Somebody was saying it that we should realize that purification of the heart is a process. And the analogy he used was that it's not like a car wash. You know, a car wash, you just drive in and and they wash it and then you come out clean and your heart is purified. I wish it were
Hmm.
that easy, but it's really not that easy.
Easier said than done.
It's really not that easy. It's a process. It's a process. It's a process. So we start with acknowledging that the heart needs to be purified. And then the most important thing we can do again is learn. Like I said, learn about what a purified heart entails. Practice the things that will make the heart
Practice,
purified.
practice,
Dhikr.
practice.
And then, most importantly for women, check your companionship.
Hmm.
The
Preach,
people you
preach,
keep company
preach.
with. The people you keep company with. It's easy to be okay. Let's even take Salat. It's easy to perform Salat on time when you're in an environment that supports and promotes Salat.
Yeah,
It's easy
yeah.
if you're a student and you're in school, if you have friends who pray, if you have friends who pray, then it's easy for you to leave whatever you are doing and then you go for salat. So it boils down to companions. Who do you surround yourself with? Who do you move with? And that's where this hadith of the Prophet ﷺ comes in,
Mhm.
that If you are with a person who sells perfumes, of course
You
you're going
smell
to
like
smell
perfume.
nice. But if you are with a person who is a blacksmith,
You smell like
eh,
coal, charcoal. I mean, what is fat?
charcoal.
You
Your
smell like
hijab will be scenting charcoal all the time. You know that kind of thing. Be giving charcoal and black things vibes.
and
So
suit, black suit.
that black suit, and you want to have a clean, and you imagine wearing a white spotless asha, and you're going to sit beside somebody who does all that. So the companionship, learn, practice companionship, and then dhikr, dua,
Yeah. The
dua,
remembrance of Allah.
and this, yeah, especially using the names of Allah, especially using the names of Allah. So there are so many du'as in the Quran, in the Hadith that talks about that you're begging Allah for Qabul Salim, clean heart,
Oh,
a sincere heart.
yeah.
So
Yes,
from
I
these
think
three
that
things,
that's something that we sort of like take for granted, like we want it. Everybody's advising you should do it. But it's
mhm,
easier said than done. So why don't you pray about
easier
it?
than
If
that.
you really want it,
Pray,
pray
oh,
about it.
pray, oh,
Pray
when
for
you
it.
want it,
Oh
pray
Allah.
about it.
I remember that I used to pray for tranquility. I used to pray for Sakina. And wallahi,
Mhm.
I achieved it. I mean, no matter
Alhamdulillah.
how everything is falling apart, that's Sakina. And the secret is there are a lot of things that you would do, but
Mm-hmm.
that prayer is the first step. Me that I prayed that, oh, well, I want to lose weight. When I saw that the weight loss is not happening, mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣàdúrà, make exercise easy
Allah.
for me. The thing that I have to do, like I do everything. So you want a sincere heart, you want to purify that, pray about it, ask Allah to guide you, and you will be shocked how your feet will just be finding its way around it. I think another thing that you must take note of to purify your heart is repentance. Once you
Mm-hmm.
understand the state of your heart, I mean, like she said, when you have the knowledge of what a sincere heart looks like or a
Mm-hmm.
sane heart, then you want to check your own on a scale of 1 to 10. How close is mine to that? And yours
Mm-hmm.
is 1 over 10, or whatever it is, even if it is 9 over 10. You want to repent the sins that you keep going, the ones that have hardened you.
Mm-hmm.
You, the gossip, the grudges. Some people they can keep going. Ah, people say,
Yeah.
"Really, I
Ah,
hate it, I hate it." Ah, it's a sin.
yes.
You hate it. How you and your husband are in the same house, you don't talk for 2 weeks.
You don't
Of
speak
course, some
for
people
2 weeks.
have found a way around it. They'll just be saying Salashimo Salamo. It's not enough. It's not superficial Salamo. You are
Mm-hmm.
just dulling yourself with your superficial Salamo for 3 weeks. Don't keep grudge mean have a relationship, not just to be Salamoing.
Yeah.
That's that. And there's repentance. I mean, it's a long list, and she have said
It
most
is.
of it. Dhikr is
Yes.
regular salah. Watch your salah.
Mm-hmm.
Watch
Mm-hmm.
your salah. Say salah
Mm-hmm.
regularly.
Mm-hmm.
If possible, add some nawafil to it. It will
Yeah,
strengthen
it's very important.
reflecting on the Quran too. I mean, how do you
Mm-hmm.
want to reflect on the Quran and your heart will not soften?
Yeah.
You see, if Allah loves you, He will even make you open part of the Quran that will tell you
That
that
speaks
because you say me,
directly to that thing.
and you'll not be
As
like,
or you go to a lecture and then the lecturer talk
eh,
about that thing,
you
God,
will
like
not be like it's
you didn't know
you.
me
Everything is
before.
you. I remember that there was a time I used to pray. I used to pray Isha. I was so notorious with my Isha that I will sleep. I will go to bed and not pray Isha. I'll say, actually, I can pray it before Subui.
Before
I was
Subi,
so
yeah.
notorious. That's how I hosted an event. Or next thing, somebody said, please talk about Isha. I was like, in fact, I remember saying, no, we don't have time. We don't have time. And the person said, no, we have time. We'll let them talk. My nerves did not want to listen to the truth. I kept saying, no, there's no time. We have to move to the next one. And somebody said, no, 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 let us say it. We have time. That's why I
And
listen to
that
the
is the
truth.
grace. That's the
It
grace
is
of
grace.
Allah you're
It
enjoying
is
at
the
that
grace
point.
of Allah. It
It's the
is the
grace of
grace of
Allah because
Allah.
the heart
It is
needed
the grace of
a reminder at that point in time. It's the
Yes,
grace of
yes. And
Allah.
the reminder always benefits.
It
So
always
it's a
there.
grace of Allah. Good company, like she said, is very key. Good environment. Good
Yes, so
environment. Good environment. There's a place that there's a place I go that I have good company, but the environment is not good. On my way to that place, I would have heard
it means
Orishiorishi
you will
Sheyi on the
see.
way. When I had
Mm.
come home, I'll be mind me Sheyi. But yeah, we should be doing video call. Kema was on a lane. That's how it's going. Charity too.
Charity,
Charity.
huh?
Charity does though,
A
because
lot.
It does a lot.
Clears a
It does
lot of
a lot.
things.
So,
That
and when we're
charity,
talking about charity, we're talking about selflessness, not just giving money. Show up
Mm-hmm.
for people. It's
Charity is
really
not just
something to
money.
the
Oh.
heart.
It we are the ones who think when you hear charity, I mean low. It's not money. Your
Yeah,
time, your
your
skills. What
time,
can you do to make somebody's
selfless
life
acts of
better?
kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Those they soften the heart. They make you just feel like,
They do.
well, they're
They do.
tongue.
They do. And they make you see the
Sincerity. I mean,
beauty of Allah. Makes you see
yeah.
the beauty. If you pause and enjoy the beauty. See the flowers. How many of us? I mean, you go on a walk and you're hunting for butterfly because it's something that gives you joy. But if you're under
Hmm.
stress and you're holding grudges, you can't see any butterfly now.
Butterfly
That's
won't. Even if somebody find butterfly, they will go. This butterfly we're talking about. Because it's
Laura.
beautiful butterfly. There's this thing my sister does every before there's this thing my sister does. She before she got married, I think she still does it with
Hmm.
her at her husband's house. And she will name the ram. When we buy the ram, she will name it. And initially it was like Diderinye, Walai Diderinye. But it's such a it's and then it's such a heart something thing. You know, sometimes you say Ramsey. She'll give it a ram something name. Every
Hmm.
year the ram has a name. And you want to be
Wow.
like Etufuloruko. But you know, after a while, after a while, my mom was thinking, okay, what do you want to call this ram this year? It's such a softening thing. And in what that thing does, we give it a name, it makes us soft towards it and we're kinder to
Yeah.
it until we kill it.
Yeah.
And when we're killing it, we don't kill it with so much aggression and we kill
Mm-hmm.
it
With
with
mercy.
like we're letting it with mercy. And it's as simple as just doing stuff, allowing stuff like that. For some of you like this, if your children should bring grasshopper, oh, that's in the house. Soften your heart, soften your heart, be kind, soften your
Be
heart.
kind
So
to
that you keep
animals.
on the cats in the house, keep it, be kind. It is part of charity. We've talked about self-reflection. I said that you should start with self-awareness. Sincerity is also key. And what sincerity? Do everything lila. It is
Yeah.
hard because show off is
It
easy,
is hard
but always
though. It is
check your
hard.
heart. Like, why am I doing this? You know, every time
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I doing this MS Con? Especially when MS Con used to be, I was like, that could all kill me.
Ibo wahala yìí
It's
ná.
at 12 p.m. This is me fasting coffee. I can't drink water. Why am I doing this? Like, do I have
Lillah,
to
you
do
are
it?
doing Lillah wa Rasul.
Ah, may Allah accept it. You
I
need
may
to
Allah
check.
accept it.
Someone told me
Yeah.
something, I think I shared it a couple of days ago, that she told me every time she's always admiring how I attach every mundane thing in my life to my Islam. I told her that because that's what it means to live by the way of that Islam is a way of life. If I can attach the most mundane thing that I do to my Islam, then it's not a way of life anymore. So and that's it.
Mhm.
And how do I do it? Just check what's the position of the Sharia on this thing? What's the position of what?
Yeah.
How can I attach this
So
to? How
that's
can I Islamize
knowledge.
this? And I feel
It's knowledge. It goes back to
that
knowledge. If you don't know the
knowledge,
position of the
yes, it
Sharia,
takes us back to knowledge. You can't run away from this knowledge back.
you
And then
can't
there's
so
patience. There's
patient
patience.
with
There's patience.
yourself.
Sufferings. Be
With
patient with
yourself.
yourself. Be patient
Mm-hmm.
with people. You need to forgive yourself of your bad past sins. So Allah has forgiven you. You are the one that is still holding it. Be patient with yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
that cultivate patience. And I think the best way to do is to trust Allah. Just trust Allah. He knows what He's doing. I woke up in the middle of the night. I'm like, I'm thinking about something like, by this time last year, I thought I would have done the thing. And I'm like, and I said, oh Allah, you know why you have not allowed it. And only you know why you have not allowed it. And mashallah, I let it go. And I take a deep breath and wake up with sorrow. And then this very powerful one is gratitude. Gratitude is a
Gratitude.
powerful attitude.
Mm.
You can cure anything with shukr.
Yeah.
When I talk about my healing journey, the number one thing I did was just shukr. It was just
Mm-hmm.
every day wake up with shukr. In
Gratitude.
fact, 2 weeks ago, my heart was heavy, and I told my assistant and I, let's start. Fatima Pico, let's start an affirmation. We're going to start an affirmation
Affirmation
challenge, and we'll
challenge.
include gratitude with it. And we're lying 3 days. In 3 days,
Yes,
I just
salam.
been
Three.
telling
One, two,
you
three.
one
Only
lie in
three.
3 days. And I remember
Allah
because I was looking
Akbar.
at it by day 3, I was telling her that, oh, well, my chest is down. Why is your own chest? Like, how's your chest? And I was
How's
asking her,
the I'm
you
so
feel
excited
better?
on your behalf.
And I was
Alhamdulillah.
asking her, how do you feel? She said she too, she's feeling right. I said, so total, my own chest is down. Are you consistent? And
MashaAllah.
mashallah, I think we're in day 14 or well, 2 weeks of it. And alhamdulillah, shukru. If you don't know how to do anything, everything we have listed, just try to be grateful. Wake up every day and sincerely in your heart, just say, even if it is okwe bebe, be saying
Mm-hmm.
it bebe. One day you wake up and you realize that it is
To be
heartfelt.
real, okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like we said at the beginning, the number one thing that stains your heart is sin. So, so keeping away from major sins, especially. And you should read. She did say about knowledge. There are a lot of major sins. You need to read about them. Some of us only think that if I'm not stolen, if I'm not this, that's it. No, check out the read about sins and try to keep away from it. May Allah ease it for all of us. What's your last word, Sister Diane?
Mhm.
What's your last
My
word?
last word. Know that it's a journey. Life is a journey. Purification of the heart is a journey. There are days you get it right. There are days you struggle. But don't give up. Never give up. No
Don't
matter
give
how
up.
hard it is, know that Allah is with you and He will never ever let us down as long as you hold on strongly to the rope of Allah. And may Allah
MashaAllah.
bless this for us and bless this for everybody.
Um, it's
Ameen.
been fantastic speaking with you. I've enjoyed myself, mashallah. Thank you so much for your time. May Allah reward you. May this count as a huja of goodness for you in this life and the half. Uh, don't give up on yourself. I think that's a good last word from me too. Don't give up on yourself. To give up on yourself is to give up on Allah. To say that this is how my heart is to give up on Allah. Don't 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 give up on your heart. It's going to be hard to come back from a very hardened heart, but it's going to be worth it. And I is it for us, and I bless us with sincere heart, purify our hearts against sins, protect us from ourselves, and grant us the best of this life and the akhirah. Thank you so much for your audience. We continue day 8 tomorrow until I think the last live chat is going to happen on Friday. There's no live chat on the day of Eid. We'll just be expecting you to share with us all the live actions from Eid ground and how much you're enjoying yourself. Inshallah. Inshallah. So it's been fantastic. I hope you've learned something. I pray that the knowledge is beneficial to you and I in this life and hereafter. And I pray that Allah forgive me and all my speakers and you for sitting through the hour of the conversation and make this a whole job of goodness in this life and the next. Assalamu alaikum and take care everyone. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.